Hey everybody, so last week I posted this message about 3 pillars of full interactive interface. One of these was the contextual awareness, and I showed off our storybook, and today I want to show you a bit like how we read code and what's the magic sauce behind it. And spoiler, it's container style queries in CSS. So that's what actually will allow us to use selectors. So if we look at it, and we're going to start out with our code here. We're just going to go down a bit and look at a container style query. So a container style query allows us to write a CSS query on a container and then ask for the specific property of an element, kind of like of a style that is there. I'm going to check here if my level is on 100. So the value of my CSS variable level, or my token, if you think about it, matches 100. If that is the case, then I have more conditions. Then I'm checking if my data emphasis is minimal. And yes, it's minimal. So I'm doing my color object 200. That's a mix-in. In the future, we will have CSS functions or CSS idents that we can use for this. That will drastically shrink the amount of the CSS that we use here. And then the other one, for example, here's the data emphasis subtle. That goes to 300. So what this means is that every step on our scale has a color object, which contains its foreground color, background color, and strokes and minimal. And this is our color object. So the color object mix-in, as you can see, renders a level where I set the current level. So that's the cool thing. Then I have my foreground default, subtle, minimal. I have a background, I have a stroke, minimal, subtle, default, strong. This could be extended if you need more on top of one surface, kind of as information. Shadows would be one thing that I could do. Gradients that might be applicable to that one specific background might also be a thing. So this is our color object. But we also have like the appearance that we're choosing. And the appearance I'm selecting on one layer above. So if we go up here, this is my appearance selector. So if the data appearance is set, it will use my appearance, set the appearance, that I can also use this in container style queries, and then create these references to my specific appearance in my color. Create the object for each of them, and then I'm just reusing that again. We also have a data level, which we use if I want to hard set a specific level of my scale. So if we go back to our minimal here, and this is the generic minimal stacking logic we have. So we can see on level 100, we have 200. If we now go to our storybook, we can see this means we're always going darker. So on 100, I'm going to 200, on 200, I'm going to 300. If we look at the CSS here, you can see 200 goes to 300, 300 goes to 400, and so on until the end, by 1500, where I then start to actually flip around and say, hey, on 1500, you go to 1400, 1400, you go to 1300, so that I don't get to a pitch black color. So we actually don't want this behavior in a light interface. We actually want stacking behavior that goes lighter again. So it goes grayish, whitish, so a zebra striping. If we want to achieve this, we would now go to say, hey, on our level 200, our logic will need to be mapped to my level 100. But if I save this, flip over, I'm done, right? Suddenly I have zebra striping. All of the interfaces changed, kind of like, because they are doing the container style queries. At the end, there's different logics that we could use for container style, kind of like nesting or stacking. There is actually differences between stacking elements and nesting elements, because stacking means I need shadows and like really give it an elevation, where nesting means I'm just putting something inside an element already. And we could define these logics by always go darker, do a ping pong effect, right? Like go dark light, dark light, dark light. Or we could say like, hey, always do this until you hit a specific contrast. That's actually what happens if we now go to accent, right? You can also see like it's also still doing that. But go to subtle where I didn't adjust it, it goes darker. If I now go to my base, you can see we have the zebra striping. Because on my base of my color, I have this logic defined. So if we go down, where each appearance actually has a different base. So if we go to our accent appearance, you can see my base is normally my color object 900. But in the case of a level 700, kind of like, or 800, 900, 1000 or 1100, I'm going to my color object 100, so to my lightest interface. And that's kind of like the flipping logic, where it says like if the level is one of these 5, I'm going back to the other object. So in CSS, we can do this already. This is supported by Chrome. Unfortunately, Firefox doesn't yet support it, but I'm 100% sure Firefox will support container queries. I don't know when, but not too far in the future, most likely. Big challenge we have is like, how do we now bring this to design? And I would love to have your ideas. One idea is kind of like, normally we don't need more than 4 surfaces, but maybe we can get away with 4 surfaces if you're an organization. If you're an enterprise, easy, right? And we just need a plugin that maybe helps you with the routing of your logic. That would be one option. Or you have 2 collections that might iterate through things if it gets tricky then. But yeah, like we have options to get there. Hacky ones at the moment. Maybe we get better ones, but like we can get there kind of like, and this can give us a really interesting approach of how we solve these things. Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. Also your criticism, kind of like your like, yeah, if you think something's not going to work out in the future, if you think this is too complex for consumers, please let me know. Yeah, just wanted to drop this in here and hope you like the information. And yeah, let me know what you think about it. Bye-bye.